everyone, it's Lovely Scrappin' here. I am here to show you another tutorial on how to make a fabric flower inspired by Prima. I was just playing around with some of the fabric I have, and I really loved the flower. Oh, I don't have the name offhand what it's called, but anyway, it's on their website and it looks like this with rhinestones. I haven't actually put this center on yet. I haven't decided what I wanted to put for a center yet. I think I might do the rhinestones and do beading around the edges. Haven't quite decided yet, but I just wanted to get this video out there for you guys to see because I'm just so excited about it. So hopefully I can pull this off on camera. We'll give it a whirl. This one here was an attempt to do this one, but I kind of messed up on the sewing, so I just trimmed up the edges. So don't be intimidated if you don't get the sewing proper on the edges. You can always fix it up and have a different looking flower. So this one looked pretty neat, so I like the way that one turned out. So guys, hang in there and I'll show you how to make this flower here. Okay, so you're just going to take your material, and this one is 2 strips of just like a sheer material. I'm not sure the name of it, but it's about 2 strips of 28-inch long, and it's about 3 inches wide in diameter. I just like to give myself a little extra to work with in diameter, so you can cut it down afterwards depending on the size of the flower. But for this demonstration I'm just going to have it about 3 inches wide to have some extra give, because it helps to have that when you're doing some sewing around the edges afterwards. So just to start with, you just take your 2 pieces of material, and just like you know, the other flowers I kind of showed, you're going to do straight stitching. So you just take the 2 pieces of material, go through with your thread, and because it's, oh sorry, knocking over stuff here. Because it's kind of a sheer material, I'm just going to do that kind of a loop through there so it doesn't pull through the fabric. And then from here you're just going to do a wonderful straight stitch. One of the most time consuming parts of the whole thing, unless you're really good with a needle and thread. Just do straight stitch. So if you don't know what that is, it's just in and out, weaving in and out of the fabric with your needle. And I'm just using a nice big long needle because it just makes it go faster that way. And then you're just going to pull and then continue on throughout the entire length of your fabric with the 2 ends, sewing them together. Okay, so as you're coming to the end, what you're going to do is just pull that last little bit through, and then just, it's going to bunch. You want it to bunch all up like that, and you can kind of get an idea of what's happening here. So you're forming all of those little pleats there for your flower. So all you do is tie your ends together. So bring it together like that, and do a few more reinforcing stitches. And I'm not sewing these 2 loose ends together because they'll come together when I do my last little bit, which I'll show you here. So just make sure they kind of overlap a little bit, and then just continue to reinforce the rest of the flower, like the center. So once you're done that, just tie up your end. So just snip this off. Where's my scissors? Just snip it off. I like to snip it nice and long, so I have something to grab to tie. And just tie a knot. So I'm just going to snip off, as you probably have experienced if you've done fabric flowers. You get all of these little frayed bits. That's no problem, because I'll show you what to do with those after. We're going to actually use those for the look. But for the big ones, I'll just snip them off. So now you're just going to flip it over, and you're going to decide how big you want your flower. So however big you want your flower is where you're going to start your sewing, because you're going to take this to your sewing machine. If you're like me and not much of a sewer and don't own a sewing machine, I just got this from Target. It's just a hand singer, and you just do it by hand, and it was what, $10 at Target. So you can get one of these too, and honestly a sewing machine would be way easier. I have used sewing machines, so I do know how to use them. I just don't own one, but it would be way easier. If you don't have access to any of that, you can, if you have the time, hand stitch all the way around if you want, because as you can see here, hopefully you can see it, you'll see the stitching in a circle all the way around. So that's how you're going to determine how big you want your flower. If you want it to be like this big in diameter, you're obviously going to sew in more. So that's where you are just going to make your own decision there and decide where you want. I think I'm going to make this one maybe a bit smaller than that one there, so I might start my sewing here, and then go around in a circle. You know, determine whereabouts on the flower you want to start. And I'm starting where my two ends are not joined, so this is going to join them. You're just going to try to go in a nice circular fashion around the flower, bunching up the material as you go. Alright, so I'm at the end, and I'm just going to lift this up, pull it out. You can kind of see what's happening there. So you know that this is going to be the flower here, so I'm just going to trim around the edges here to make my flower smaller. So first I'm just going to trim off any extra pieces I got going on there. So all you do is go into a circle. There you go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fray these edges. All you do is just fray them up with your fingers. Just pull, and all those little pieces are going to start coming up. So when you've got kind of where to where you want it, just take your scissors and just snip all those long pieces off. Okay guys, so from here, the center is totally up to you, however you want to do it. For the sake of this video, I'll just show you how I did this spiral center. So I just took, when you're cutting off all that extra material here, I just saved it. So just take a circle punch, this is 7/8 of an inch, and just take your extra fabric here, and what I do to start it off is I just put a little dollop of glue there, hot glue. Don't have to use hot glue if you don't want to, but it dries fast, so I am going to use that. And I just hold the material down like that. So for the pearl, you're just going to grab a pearl, and what I'm going to be doing is just gluing it down because I'm going to be wrapping the fabric around that. So this is a pearl bead, so I'm going to make sure that these little holes are to the side and not pointing up, because you don't want those to show. So now you're just going to take your fabric and just spiral it around. So start turning it, twisting it, and spiraling it. And as you go, you're just going to put little bits of glue on that cardstock to hold that fabric down. And you're just going to do this it's super, super easy. Just continue to go around and glue it to however you like it. Get the look that you're going for. If you want your pearl just to peeking out, just cover a little bit more. Just continue to twist your fabric and wrap around that pearl until you've got the size center that you want for your flower, or until you've just covered up the cardstock, whichever. So essentially this is kind of what you're getting. So when you get to however much you think you want for your flower, so that's about the size I want, you're just going to fold the fabric and just going to snip it, fold, put a big dollop of glue back here on the back of the cardstock, because you're going to adhere that piece of fabric back there so it's hidden. You don't want it showing, kind of want it to look like there was no little pieces and ends showing. And just get rid of any little excess glue you might have showing. And that's the center. And now for this, you can put a few stitches through the paper and grab it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll show you how I'm going to attach that in a second. Okay guys, so just a quick tip on how to put this on here. I don't want to just use glue because it's fabric and it'll just easily peel off. So what I'm going to do is fasten it with a few stitches. So I'm just going to put my needle through here, and I'm just going to take the end and just pop my needle through the paper and into the fabric, push it through a little bit more, and then pop it back out. So just the needle through And you can probably just catch it a couple more times. Okay, so once you've got that through a few times, just give it a little pull. And this is where you're just going to put your needle and thread through the center and out the bottom. But don't pull all the way yet, because just for extra, we're just going to put a little bit of glue on there. Push down and pull with your string. And that's just going to give it a little bit extra. Make sure it's nice and centered. And then just do a little bit of reinforcing on the back. There you have it. Cut off your thread. And where I've started, there's that thread here. I usually like to keep it nice and long because I just tied the ends together now. And just trim off any excess ends. And there you guys have it. So that is my version of a Prima flower. Again, with these, any center you want. This is just the center I did because it's the easiest. I'll do some more with some nice rhinestone centers. So this is a bit of a smaller flower than the big huge honking one, and I'm even going to try doing a nice little tiny one to put on a card or something. So I hope you guys like these flowers. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't be intimidated again by the sewing. I was, and well, it sort of turned out. And with practice, they'll get even better. But just so you know, that's the technique I used to get this look. Thanks guys, take care, bye now.